Because of the drastic increase in online learning, today I'm going to dive into the similarities and differences of online learning and traditional classroom learning for first-year composition students. How are these two models the same? To be successful, both require students to be actively engaged, and the instructor should be actively facilitating the learning environment. We all know that presentation-style lectures are boring, and research shows that when an instructor facilitates discussion, learning happens, both online and in person. The second way they're the same is they require students to be intrinsically motivated. Because college is not mandatory, students should want to succeed, whether they're walking to class or whether they're simply opening their laptops on the sofa. How are they different? Well, the main difference is that traditional learning requires a forced schedule of time and place, where online learning can be done anytime in any place. The anytime, any place advantage is attractive to adults, but the social interaction is attractive to younger students. Online learning is generally done alone. The student with a computer sits at his desk, and the student in a traditional composition class could sit together, talk to his peers. They might end up brainstorming, helping each other with thesis statements. While online learning is convenient, it can't replace human interaction. What are a couple of advantages of online learning? Well, the online learning allows students to access college regardless of their location or their circumstances. Another advantage is that students actually spend more time reflecting and thinking through the materials. For a composition course, this is great because students have time to think about what they're going to write. It gives them time to research and edit. It actually gives them time to focus on their personal opinions and their belief systems so that they can write their papers. There are some disadvantages, however, and those would be they kind of lack the collaboration that they would normally get in a traditional classroom. And the other disadvantage is what is called the digital divide. Simply put, that means that people sometimes don't have steady access to the internet and they don't have technical skills. In a composition course, that could be a problem because they need to research, they need to type and edit and know how to upload their documents to the learning management system. So what are some advantages of traditional learning? Like I've said, the face-to-face interaction is probably the number one advantage. Students can get clarification on assignments, ask questions, and interact with their peers. Another advantage is the interpersonal skills that students can gain while they're sitting in a classroom. They can collaborate on assignments, they can give presentations, maybe even do podcasts, things like that they can't do when they're sitting alone. But there are some disadvantages to traditional learning, and one is that students don't take time to reflect or critically examine course content material when they're sitting in a classroom. The other disadvantage is, like I've already said, students have to stick to a time and a place schedule that is sometimes not convenient, especially for adult learners. How can we apply adult learning theories to each of these models? Adults need to know why, and they also like to tie their past experience to their current learning. On top of that, they prefer to be self-directed. So an online composition class should provide a place for students to get to know each other. It should provide opportunities for them to share experiences, and it should also have clear expectations and evaluations. The traditional classroom should also have a time for students to get to know each other by in-class introductions or surveys, and also these instructors should be available for students to talk and learn from each other. What can instructors do to make sure that learning happens? Instructors can use clear language. They can ask students for examples about how they've applied this content in their lives previously. They can also involve students in active learning. If we use Kolb's model of experiential learning by feeling, watching, learning, thinking, and doing activities, then true learning can happen. In the end, both traditional and online learning take place when adult learners have the opportunity to choose the kind of learning that works for them.